So a comfortable and important win for Tipperary, but just a step on their road to recovery.
It was the first game back after the Cork match. We were very, very disappointed and very hurt 5 weeks ago down in Cork, and we were just delighted to get the win under our belt there today. But it's just a first step, and just say hopefully now we can continue on from here. But it's very important to get a win there today.
I suppose it's just the start of the second half that was really killed. It was very hard to recover from 2-2. It's so quick when we went out. We were in doubt, confident, thinking that we could get ourselves into the game, and it's disappointing for the lads because they put in a huge effort, and to lose like that in the end. But in fairness, they kept fighting away, and to be fair to them, they put up 19 points, which was a good score, but unfortunately didn't lift in too many.
Michael, it was a disappointing game overall in Thurles. Were we maybe expecting too much from Wexford?
I don't know. I'd expect a lot more than any championship game. It was one of the poorest games I was at in recent years now. There was no passion or heart, particularly from Wexford. I wouldn't be that critical of Tip. They did what they had to do. They put up 324. Wexford scored 19 points, but that was really because Tip stopped hurling, in the last 20 minutes, and they got a few handy scores. But overall, the Wexford plays, their striking was very poor, some of their decision making was very poor. But the biggest thing, if I was a Wexford man, would be the lack of passion in the jersey. You need that before you have anything else, and they have a lot of rebuilding to do down there, a long way to go.
Right. What about Tip, Diarmuid? Lar made a reference there to the bitter disappointment of the performance against Cork.
Yeah, there was a lot of stinging criticism sent their way after the Cork game. Some would say it was justified, more would say it wasn't. But the senior players in that group they'll have gathered their thoughts, they'll have got the younger lads, and look lads, this isn't all a bed of roses, it's not all about going to Croke Park, All-Ireland final day, you must get up every step of the ladder along the way, and to fall at the first step against Cork, because they were perceived to be the only team to really target Kilkenny maybe and take them on this season, and to get a beating the way they did, it will have hurt them.
All right then. What about the Antrim-Carlow match? Dinny Cahill said Antrim absolutely deserved it, but it's tough on Carlow. They did well up there.
They had a good league campaign this year. They had a great win last weekend against Leach in Dr. Cullen Park. Dinny was on about the goal disallowed, but no mention of the penalty. That was very dubious. Carlow got some great scores there. You could see that the quality of their finishing, their hurling has definitely improved in the last 12 months, and Antrim now go on harder games ahead for Antrim, but they'll have to really improve if they want to get through the next round of the qualifiers.
They're playing Offaly, or they can't play Offaly rather when that draw is made.
Dublin or Clare. Play Limerick first.
Offaly play Limerick first.
Play Limerick first.
Apologies to everyone in Limerick. All right then. Well, listen, what about the Christie Ring? And you had an interest there in Westmeath's victory over Kerry.
Kevin Martin, my old teammate, with them for his first year and winning that in a great finish and a fine game of hurling. Kevin has a good record now, trained Tullamore to win the championship last year in Offaly as well, so he's building a reputation as a coach.
Tough on Kerry, Diarmuid, to lose any final in Croke Park to an injury time point.
Oh, incredible. Kerry have put a lot into it, and you could see by John Moyler's reaction. They were bitterly disappointed, but on the other side, it's great to see the likes of the Kerrys and the Armaghs and these lads getting a stage in Croke Park, that there is a stage for these guys to show their hurling skills to the country, and it's just not all about the top tier, that these guys can come up, put on exciting games and get big scores in games as well.
Yeah. And well done to Armagh and Longford as well on their wins, although the Donegal keeper didn't look too happy with how that match went. The big match next weekend then, while we have a Waterford man and a Cork man and a neutral, the Munster hurling final. Diarmuid, when you popped in to look at Cork training, how are they going?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell Paul a whole pile because I know the first thing he's going to be doing is heading down the road is on the phone. But no, as I said, I saw something in a Cork team I hadn't seen in a while. They were preparing well, they were preparing hard, but I mentioned that there was also a good bit of fun going on there. A lot of teams have seemed to take the fun out of training, but as the one thing that struck me, as I said, they train hard, but they seem to be enjoying it, they seem to be getting on well, and it just wasn't a group, 3 or 4 small groups. It was everyone. It was Dennis Welsh taking part in the banter. Everyone was there. It was a happy camp.
Good spirit. And I suppose, Paul, the excitement and anticipation of the senior game is being added to by Cork and Waterford. Miners played a thriller and they've a replay this week, haven't they?
Replay this Wednesday night as in Welsh Park. Waterford got a last minute 21. Paul Manny from my own club. He was obviously watching down the years, and he buried it in the corner, and then again in extra time he got a point to make a draw of it. And Waterford didn't give in, and they have their chance now Wednesday night below in Welsh Park. But
I hope he's a bit fitter than you.
Oh, he's very fit. But no, the last year Waterford had a minor and a senior in the final as well, first time in God knows how long. So I hope to be great if it happened again this year.
And what about the senior team now?
Well, the senior team, they beat Clare. you know, Clare are kind of building a team, as we all know. I think the big prize on offer next Sunday is not alone winning the Munster title, but avoiding Kilkenny in the semi-final, so that's a huge incentive. Obviously, Isaaci at full forward is going to have to be watched. Does Declan Prendergast go in on him, or does Liam Lawler stay there? So there's the Cork backs are probably the best backs in the
What
country.
would you do? How would you handle Isaaci?
Well, I try to cut out the supply anyway. For starters, John Gardner was the one man in particular who just rained the ball in top of, you know, it was really the downfall of Tipperary. So you'd have to kind of curtail, put pressure on the Cork backs and stop the supply, really. Michael, the neutral view.
Yeah, I felt maybe with Waterford this year that there were outsiders from Munster. I tipped them here a couple of months ago at the start of the Sunday game for Munster, on the basis that, you know, I felt they were coming in under the radar. The rest of a lot of their older players during the league gave them a good break, and a lot of them coming back. But I'd have to say I was very, very impressed by Cork's performance against Tipperary. You know, I maybe felt that some of those players, you know, long time on the go would have had that same sort of hunger and drive again, but Dennis Walsh has brought them all back together. As Diarmuid says, they're enjoying their hurling again. They had argued over the last couple of years there was their training was very badly interrupted. So, you know, on the basis of what we've seen so far, you'd say Cork are slightly better equipped, but I think it's very much a 50-50 game.
All right, Diarmuid, where do you think Waterford's main threat would come from?
You know, obviously they take great pride in their scoring prowess over the last couple of years. You know, you throw, well, Paul has gone over with a while now, you know, but you've Milan, you know, the Kellys of this world.
Yeah.
You know, they need, if Cork could go on and beat Waterford, they need to keep them quiet. You know, Shane O'Sullivan there delivering the ball into them. It's like John Gardner striking the ball. You know, Shane O'Sullivan is a good hurler, and he can pick these boys out. If they make a run, he'll put the ball in front of them. And if you leave John Milan or Owen Kelly or the McGraths this one get the ball in front, it's very, very hard to take it off them.
And they had plenty of options on the bench last day, which we haven't seen. Maybe, you know, the two Prendergasts came on were brilliant. Who else came on the last day? Ken McGrath came on for the last 5 minutes. But to have subs like that, is particularly the impact that they made. But I suppose the difficulty now is if you start all those guys, have you got the backup to bring on? But it's good to have 18 or 19 players, and you know they have a good record relatively good record against Cork over the last few years as well. So I think it's going
and
to be
Waterford have been in a few finals, obviously in the last decade. They've had a great decade. But is the same excitement still there amongst the Waterford public, do you think, Paul?
Well, obviously, in general, I don't think people are going to matches as much as they were 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, like, I mean, Waterford can't be complacent about Munster finals. We spent long enough trying to get to them, so now that we're winning, we might as well enjoy them. But the fact that it's in Thurles as well, like there was a talk earlier on that, you know, Waterford agreed to play in Cork, but the Waterford team will be much happier that it's in Thurles. Like, I mean, I would be able to, you don't give Cork another advantage going down to playing like in the Munster final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's hard enough trying to beat them in Thurles, but no, I think the players are, you know, if they perform, they'll be quite confident that they can match Cork and possibly come out with a victory. Well,
it's one to look forward to, and you can catch it live here next Sunday on RT2 television. Well, before we leave, Diarmuid, we want to finish with one of our, Paul's always on about what he scores, but your only score in the championship was a great favourite of ours. This was against Limerick in, what was it, 2001? Was it?
I think so, yeah.
But talk us through it. How far out are you? Look at horse team out of the way. Bit of a barge.
I think at this stage I go back to about 110 yards. I'm sure then. But, you know, all right. It's nice to get a score like that in any game, but I think, you know,
I think the shoulder was more impressive than the point.
But I suppose the most disappointing thing was the result in the day. You know, I think Barry Foley outshadowed that score by cutting a ball over the bar from 45 yards to win the game from Limerick. That was a far more important score and a far more meaningful score than that ever was, I suppose.
Well, it's nice that we can reflect on a good moment for Limerick hurling in the year that's in it. Thanks for that, Diarmuid. That's about it for tonight, so thank you, Michael, Paul, and especially to Diarmuid for joining us. We'll have further reflection on all the big GA issues on Radio 1 at 6:30 tomorrow evening, and we'll be back here again as always next Sunday night. Until then, from all of the team here, bye-bye.
To show that you can be